Today, I'm going to show you how to use Storify. First of all, note that the website is called Storify.com.
Right away.
Really easy. The first thing you're going to have to do is log in.
By clicking this red button in the main interface.
I already have a login,
and in the recorder,
but you can also log in with Facebook or Twitter. And if you don't have a login, you're going to want to make sure that you go ahead and create your own.
Later, you can learn much more about recording by right-clicking on the recorder and choosing Recorder Tutorials. But for now, when you're ready to start, click Record. Camtasia will minimize, and you'll get a countdown. When that's complete, you can start your demo, explanation, or whatever with narration.
So once you're logged into Storify, what you're going to want to do is create a story.
Click the red icon in the menu bar and choose Stop Recording.
The point of Storify is to take lots of information from different sources and put it all together so that you can find it in one story or one place where you need it to be. So, for example, if I wanted to create a story about Purdue University, I would name the story Purdue University.
All right, it's your turn.
And I could enter a description saying
pause the video and make a simple recording. When you're done,
that I want to look for
Twitter to start this video again. If you need to review part of the project or you end up in the wrong spot after making an edit, use the playhead. That's this triangle with a line.
Talking
to scrub through the video and find the right spot.
Purdue.
Look for the visual cues that mark each section.
So now that I've named it and I've talked about what I want to find,
you can always restore it.
I can go to Twitter, and you have to connect to your Twitter. I've already connected my Twitter for this class to this account. So if I was going to search for something on Twitter that had to do with Purdue,
your video might be good enough
I could type in Purdue into search
go up to the share menu
and see if anyone was talking about Purdue.
Let's choose Export, which will give you an MP4 video file. This is great for viewing on most any device. Give your video a name and choose Export.
This might take a little while.
Camtasia will export it. Then give you a button to view it in Finder, where you can open it by double-clicking. This particular project might take a few minutes to export, so we'll hold off on trying that out now. As I mentioned, you could stop here and have a complete video. However, Camtasia also provides you with a fully featured editor to help you improve your screencasts. Let's go through some of the basics.
You also can connect to your Facebook. I'm not connected to my Facebook, but that's also an option that you have.
There are several ways
or you can connect to Google Plus.
Or any
on Google Plus,
project.
There are lots of people that are talking about Purdue.
Let's start with trimming the edges of media, since that's simplest.
So if I was looking for research at Purdue, I could see research at Purdue, and it says, a group of Purdue University students who created a soy-based, renewable, and recyclable filament.
To an arrow,
and then I would just drag
you can also use this technique
over to my storyboard,
the length of a media,
and it would be added.
Annotations. Your turn. Hit pause and use trimming.
You can scroll down through and you can find other things.
Click play when you're ready to continue. If you've trimmed that cough out, you'll notice it left a blank spot in the video. So I'll show you another way to remove a segment of media that closes the gap.
Just by scrolling. And you're going to find most things
that the part you want to remove, hold the shift key, then click
that have
and drag
Purdue
to
in
make a
them.
selection.
If Purdue is mentioned, then they will probably show up in here.
And
of course, they're all very different.
After you let go, you can also adjust the edges of the selection.
And most of these are recent.
Right-click and choose Ripple Delete Range to have everything to the right on those tracks.
There's one about Inside Science I can take and I can drag that over here too.
Try it for yourself.
To my storyboard.
By removing the two ums in
I can also check just on Google.
Click play again when you've done that.
There's the Purdue
you can find
website.
more tutorials about working and editing
on the timeline if I want to reference
by right-clicking
Purdue later.
in an empty spot and choosing
There's
Timeline
Wikipedia.
Tutorials.
There's Purdue Athletics.
Now, earlier, I mentioned that you could add your
more about
recordings,
Purdue Athletics,
as well as audio and images, to your screencast. You can do this by going to the
best part about
and
using
dragging the item to
Storify
canvas,
is that
which is this big
you can use it for
section
lots of different purposes. You could use this sort of like an RSS feed if you are looking for
drag the
different
audio
news
great
information
to the timeline
on different
pause the video until you've done that.
topics. So
Finally,
if you're specifically looking for recent
like
news
text
about Purdue
more
University,
crisp and legible
you can
by using zoom
go to
animations.
Storify and you can look up
Let's take
things
this
and you
area,
can
for example.
sort of make
If
a
I'm talking about it in
timeline
my
if you'd
screencast,
like,
I
so
should
you could
zoom
have
in there
information
so the viewers can read the text.
about
And
what was
so
going on
everything
at
else
Purdue
currently
in
showing
August,
doesn't
and you could
distract
add
them
that to
from
your
what's
story, and then
important.
you could come back later in May,
To add a zoom
and you could
animation,
find
go to
more
the
news
Animations
articles
tab
about what's happening in
and
May,
drag
and you could
the
add
zoom
those so
in
that you have a
animation
chronological
to the recording
timeline
you
of
want
when
to
all
zoom
these
in
things were
on.
happening.
It will be
I've used
represented by an
Storify in
arrow
another
on the
class
media
before
clip.
to
Then,
do
in the canvas,
for
drag
research
your video
purposes,
until the correct area is
trying
showing.
to research
You can also change when the
people
animation starts
that were talking
or
on social
ends
media
and
about
how long
specific
it
topics
lasts by dragging the
and
middle
getting their
or the
opinions
dots at
and seeing
each
how many
end of the arrow.
people were talking
Click
about
pause now
certain things
and
and
zoom in on this
mentioning
part of the
certain
screen for me.
topics.
Then
And
click play again.
I took all of the
Excellent.
information
Now pause and drag the zoom out
and put it
animation
into a
to
story
someplace
so that it
later
was
in the
all
clip
somewhere
to see
together. I
what that
checked Twitter,
does.
I checked Facebook, I checked Google Plus, and
Notice
I
how it
looked through
scaled the
there
video to
and
fit
found
everything
people
in
who
the
were
canvas?
mentioning
That's great
the
for giving
topic that I
viewers
was
a
looking
larger
for,
context.
and then I put it into a storyboard,
All right.
and then I already
After you
had all
practice
of
the
that
basics,
information
be sure
put
to check out
together
the
in one
tutorial
place, so I
viewer
didn't have
to
to
learn
go
even more.
look for it later, and
Go
it
to the
was
Help
just
menu
all
and
there
choose Tutorial Viewer.
at the same time.
Take a bit of time to explore the different videos, articles, and the Camtasia course. These
So
will be
once you have
invaluable
all
in
the
helping
information that
create
you want,
excellent videos that
you
communicate
can click
and
Save
teach.
Now and save your
Now
board.
try creating your own project. To start, go here to the File
And then
menu
your board
and
will be
choose
sure to be
New
there when you
Project.
get back. You can
Thanks,
also
and happy
publish your
screencasting.
board to your profile. So you click Publish. You can continue to edit, or you can go ahead and publish the story. I'm going to go ahead and publish the story. And you can also share. I'm not going to share on Twitter or anywhere else. So I'm going to skip this stage, but you have that option to share, which could be nice if you have other people in a group that would be interested in seeing what you've accumulated from all these social media sites. And if you have groups on Facebook, if you want your Twitter followers to see the kind of things that you're looking up, you can definitely share that link through Twitter and Facebook. So once you have this published, other people can come onto Storify and see it. You can also see it and come back to it later. You have the option once you've published it to go ahead and edit it again. You can delete it. You can distribute it through different RSS feeds. If you go to settings, you can find the link to the URL. So if you, for some reason, want to email the link out to somebody, or you want to share it at a different time and you didn't originally want to share it, you can find the link under settings. You can also change the URL by editing it to make it say what you want it to say. Another thing you can do with Storify, go back to the main page, is that you can follow other people's Storify boards. So for instance, if I wanted to follow the BBC World Service, I could click here. And this is one board that they've published recently. And I could go through and I could see all the different information about the BBC. I could see things that the BBC posted. I could see tweets that people tweeted at the BBC or mentions of the BBC. You can also type on Storify, which is what they've done here, just to kind of give you some more information about what the board is about, what the different sections are, the different posts that you put on there. You can caption them so that you have a better idea of what you're looking at. I can like the BBC's board. I can comment on the BBC's board. I can share it as well. And then over here on the side, I can also follow BBC World Service if I want to. So now that you know how to use Storify, there are lots of different people that could really benefit from using Storify. I think that Storify is really great for research purposes. And so researchers, college students who are doing research projects, even high school students, if they really wanted to, could use Storify, especially for social media. If you need to figure out different trends in social media, Storify would be a good place to put them all together. You also, if you are working for a company and you're doing market research, or if you're doing social media research and you want to see what people are talking about, or if they're talking about your company, you can always use Storify to build a board that shows who's tweeting about you, who's using Facebook, and really who's engaged with your name on the internet, and mostly through social media. Another really good thing that you could use Storify for is that you could use it to follow news if you wanted to, sort of like an RSS feed, and you can find different stories that you like, and you can follow them, and then you can get your news from them in that way. So that's also really helpful if you're a news kind of person and you want to see different news sources all in one area. If you want to look at their Twitter, if you want to look at their Facebook page, if you want to look at what's being said about them on Google, different videos that they post on YouTube, you can find it all on Storify if they've accumulated a board, and you can just follow that board, and it's really simple that way. So that is just one way that you can use Storify, and I hope that that has been incredibly enlightening and that you can use Storify yourself in the future.